Okay, so I'm going to go over two things in this video that you kind of need to know. That is outlining fonts and also how to print this up for our final critique on Thursday, April 29th at 8 a.m. So really, when you get your infographic dialed in, looking the way that you want it to, it's basically in its final state. You can just do a file, save as. So I have this in my documents folder in graphic design 320, illustration 2, infographic project. I put the size here 7 by 16, but I'm going to just put outlines, maybe with an underscore, oops, and not a Z, and then push save, just as an AI file, native AI file. So we'll have our original infographic project here, and then we'll have another one in that same folder, in the infographic project folder, that says 7 by 16 outlines. And this is the one that we're going to outline our fonts in. So if we need to go back and make changes, we can reference the other file that is not outlined. Because once you outline your fonts, you can't add to your font, you can't change any spelling mistakes, you can't work with that file anymore as far as the text goes. So it's always a good idea to save out a separate document. So here we go. This is, not outlined, obviously. So you'll have to go through one by one once you've done your save as and, named it outlines. You're going to have to go through each text box one by one and do create outlines. So go to type, create outlines. I think you can also control click on this and do create outlines on your text boxes. And it might be a little bit faster to do a control click. That's on a Mac. It might be command. I'm not quite sure what it would be on a PC, but anyway, you can right click on it and do it, create outlines on a PC, I believe. So that's kind of how you would go through, and you do a file save once you were done. Let's say I just have all my text outlined now. Make sure you go through each one of those text boxes and make sure you outline all of your fonts before you turn in your final AI file. And then one thing I'm going to show you too in this video is how we're going to print this. So you do a file export as. We're going to get a JPEG. Make sure to use artboards so that you don't get anything outside of the artboard in your file. And I'm putting it back in that infographic project that's in my documents folder under illustration 2. And so I have my two files in here, but basically I can just make a JPEG of the outlines file, which is fine. So we'll export that out. We want to make sure it's in CMYK. You can bump this all the way up if you want, but 300 ppi is good in CMYK color because we're going to be printing these. Then we can do file new, and let's just do print, and we'll do a legal size piece of paper. For some reason mine's in points, so I'll just put it in inches. Actually, no, not legal. We want, we actually want a tabloid size. That's what we want, which is 11 by 17. And this is a standard size piece of paper. Lettered and legal are the other sizes that come standard from, Office Depot or wherever Staples. Tabloid's in there too. So the tabloid is what you would print a poster on, a larger poster on. So 11 by 17, we got CMYK color, high resolution, that looks good. So we'll create this. So here's our new document. And we're actually going to file place that JPEG that we exported out a minute ago. We're going to place that in, and we're just going to put it right in the middle. And we're going to leave a little bit of margin, white margin on the top and on the bottom. If we want to perfectly align this, we can do it here in the alignment panel and the properties panel. You can do align to, so if you click on these three dots here, you can do align to artboard, and then we can do right down the middle, which I think it must be already in the middle. So yeah, and then so we can do this file, save as. We're going to save an AI file. infographic project print file. So you can save the AI file. You're not really going to use the AI file. You're going to do a file export, export as. And we're going to save out a JPEG of this print file, AI file. And the JPEG is what we're going to use to print, not the AI file that we saved out. We really didn't even need to save out the AI file, but you know, it's always okay to save that stuff. So if we go into our Documents folder, under Illustration 2, Infographic Project, we have quite a few files in here now. We have the Infographic Project AI, we have the AI file with the outlines and the JPEG of that, which we brought into the print file AI. And this is actually the thing that you're going to print from. This print file .jpg is what you're going to use to print. And the reason that we set up this new document is so that we could get it perfectly centered on a tabloid sized piece of paper. So if you give this to Media Reprographics, they can print this up and it'll turn out to where it's not, so that it prints properly in the middle of the piece of paper and it looks nice. This is the file, the Infographic Project AI file, the outlined one. Make sure you turn in the outline files in Brightspace for a grade. So really the only two files we're using are the AI file with the outline and this JPEG file for printing. And I think I did ask maybe for a JPEG of your outlined file for Brightspace, but this is the main one. You know, check the project worksheet to make sure. But really the outlined AI file is what I want. I want you to turn in the file with the outlined fonts. And then this will be your print file. The JPEG is what you print from. You're going to have to email that to Media Reprographics before Thursday, April 29th at 8 a.m. So I would suggest doing that like at the very latest on Wednesday, April 28th. That's next Wednesday. So anyway, just wanted to make a quick video going over this stuff for you guys.